Hello everybody. There's nothing wrong. Do not adjust your television set. This is Travis at Tpull's Corner, and it's just before April 1st, and Wizards of the Coast is either doing
this looks like a good spot for some
Stranger
practice.
Than Things tie-in or some, I don't know, April Fool's joke. I didn't read any announcements on it recently. But we are in a little match with Sparky because I want to try something, and it's just to show you an alternate win scenario. And it's not the normal everyday alternate win scenario, I should say, I guess. Because it's based on a scenario where if you don't do something, you lose. As in you, the player with the card. But it's a hard combo to have pop up in regular play, and when it does, other players don't sit still for it. So I've been trying today, and I haven't had any luck. So we are just going to go do it. And Sparky is usually not smart enough, so they're going to block this creature every time that I bring it out. It's one of my favorite artwork. I say this every time that we see the card. You get this token elemental creature that gets to attack and then sacrifice itself every turn. And what I can actually do is, let's see, I don't attack. I use Grafted Identity. I target a creature. I sacrifice the one that's going to sacrifice itself anyway. Coldblade gets the benefit from my sacrifice, but I get the benefit from taking the card. So that's a neat trick. I like to do that. Oh, he lets it through this time. Go Sparky. I'm still stuck in my male patriarchy speech, aren't I? Sparky's got a female voice. I still call it a him. I always start off calling everybody him at the very beginning, and then I switch to they later. I'll form the new habit someday. So this deck is the Tainted Handoff deck, and it's only got one new card in it, so I'm hoping it'll show up. And I'll stop hitting Sparky before too much longer, just to make sure that it lasts. But the original idea is, it's named Tainted Handoff in part for Sulkanar the Tainted, because you get all these choices. You can only choose one each turn at the end step. The first three choices are good, positive things. The last one is one you have to watch out for. You exile Sulkanar, return it to the battlefield under an opponent's control, and you don't usually want that. So it's called Tainted Handoff because we have the spell Faithful Handoff that'll give this card to our opponent. But we choose the time and place. And we always choose after we've made the first three choices. Then we give it to the opponent. The opponent still has the exact same card, but with only one choice left, to exile and give it back to us. So we're just going to dig through our deck until we find the one new card that I got from Phyrexia. There's another alternate win scenario here built in with Triska Decaphile, where if you have the beginning of your upkeep, you have exactly 13 cards in your hand to win the game. And I've demonstrated that previously, so we're not overly eager to do that one here. Although we can. We're after a different alternate win scenario. And Graveyard Trespasser is a good card because it gets rid of a Compound Fracture. So they can't get rid of our bigger, more devastating cards. And we'll just keep drawing with Trisky. Okay, we got Fateful Handoff. That is part of the combo. We'll get rid of the Death Touch blocker.
Aww.
And we're going to go ahead and we're going to attack with Graveyard Trespasser and get rid of the second Compound Fracture. And they could block and kill Trespasser if they want. That's fine. Sparky just chump blocks. Oh, there we go. There you go, Sparky. But they're running out of ammo. And we just keep getting to draw, and we have no maximum hand size while we have a Trixie on the field. They got tired of waiting, didn't they? Alright, we'll get our last basic land out of the pile. And we'll keep drawing. And it's not quite the way I want it yet, so let's just burn down the house. We'll just get rid of everybody right now. Okay, that's good. We don't really want to use Sulkanar here. We want to wait for the Archfiend card. And it's good that we have Trisky handy to just keep drawing and drawing and drawing. I've got to be careful not to... I've got to be very careful not to actually win that way. This is a great way to demonstrate all the other features of the deck.
I'm gonna remake this town in my image. My goons will make quick work of you. Pleasure doing business with you.
9, 10, Dust Mangler. Okay, so let's go Fateful Handoff. We'll give them the Meteorite.
Woo!
And that gives me 14 cards, so not 13. So there's the card we want. Archfiend of the Dross, and I'll just pass the turn. Archfiend of the Dross is a rare card from Phyrexia All Will Be One. It's a 6/6 flyer, enters the battlefield with 4 oil counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, you remove an oil counter from Archfiend of the Dross, then if it has no oil counters on it, you lose the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring it down.
Those are some powerful cards.
And we need another Fateful Handoff spell, so we need to draw. And we'll just end the turn right there. And we're above 13, so we don't need to worry about Triska deck file. Accidentally, I mean. So down to 3. We just need one of our other 2 remaining Fateful Handoff cards. There. Alright. We are set.
When I win, you're telling me what you know about the Raven Man.
Alright, so you see we're losing an oil counter at the beginning of each upkeep. If we have no oil counters on it, we lose the game. So we're going to wait 1 turn. We're going to lose 1 more oil counter. Now we use Fateful Handoff. We target a creature we control. We get to draw 4 because of the mana value of 4 from Fateful Handoff. Now they own the card. Now at the beginning of Sparky's next turn, they're going to lose an oil counter, and they get to lose the game instead of us. So this is kind of a flip side of the alternate win scenario. This is a card that has this built-in risk into it. We're going to give you a big 6/6 card for cheap.
Think about the
But
multiverse.
if you don't
Like,
win in a certain amount of
hey,
time,
that's wild.
you're going to lose. And there's a couple of different ways to use this card. But this way, we're just going to trade possession. We'll give it to the opponent, and the opponent will lose. And we'll just pass the turn. They remove the oil counter,
Congratulations. You've done it.
and we win. Because Sparky loses, because there's no oil counter on it. And this is not an unusual... how do I want to say? It's not a frequent tactic, but there are a number of cards in Magic the Gathering over the last 30 years of the game that have said, you know, if you don't meet a certain requirement, you're going to lose the game. Probably the biggest one is if you lose the card 9 lives, you lose the game. So there's an age-old strategy. It's time-tested. It's well-loved, or I think Mark Reswater likes to use the word behated. It's beloved by some people, and some people just love to hate it. But you have cards that give things away. And you have cards that if you start with the wrong condition, you lose the game. So it's a time-tested tactic of this game that you have a card where if you don't meet a certain requirement, you're going to lose the game. You start with that card, and then there's some other card, in this case, Fateful Handoff, that trades possession so that once the lose requirement is going to be triggered, you choose the timing, and you make sure your opponent gets control of that permanent, and the lose condition goes on them. And that way, we win. And since this is not the normal way of milling them out or hitting them in the face until their life points go down to 0, we still call this an alternate win scenario. So this is going to be part of the playlist called Alternate Win Conditions. And it's just here to demonstrate, hey, this is around. You can do it. If you have more copies of Archfiend of the Dross, you could have a full deck designed around 4 copies of Fateful Handoff and 4 copies of Archfiend of the Dross, and just go to town with it. I haven't seen anybody else use this yet, but there you go. Let me know what you think of it. We had to do it with Sparky because, like I said, I only have the 1 copy right now, and I couldn't contain my excitement. I had already put together this deck with Sulkanar to use Fateful Handoff to get rid of Sulkanar so that we could just get Sulkanar back immediately and have that nice little feedback loop. But as soon as I got my copy of Archfiend and saw the text, I had already created this deck, so I immediately thought of Fateful Handoff. And thought, okay, yeah, we're going to use that combo. Those two work out just perfect with each other. And, yeah, do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you be-hate it? Leave me a comment, let me know. Remember to like and subscribe. We'll leave it there for now. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.